Hello and welcome to the TigrePup channel. In this video I'll be demonstrating a couple of different methods to curl synthetic hair. If this topic interests you, then please keep watching. Okay, so this is just to show you where we began. This is the packaging that it came in. This is what it looked like when you got it out of the package, to kind of show you what a hair texture is looking like. Now, I did a previous video about me steam curling the hair, and the hair turned out pretty much like this, and I'm starting from here because after I did this, I had started the heat trying different heat methods to see, different results. So this is my flat iron. I'm trying to show you that this is the lowest temperature I could get on my flat iron, and this is what I use in order to straighten hair. It straightened really well. The only thing is that I had a problem with is that the ends were very frizzy. But yeah, I'm just taking each section, very small sections, and flat ironing the hair and using the chase method with the comb in order to get as much smoothness as possible. But even with this, the ends, as you can see here, are looking kind of frizzy in comparison to the mid lengths and the roots of the hair. So I just thought that was important to tell you about, so you won't be disappointed when you get it. So this is half of the head flat iron with the flat iron, and the other half steam rolled with the steam in the plastic bag that I did a previous video on. And this is the beginning of our journey. So in order for me to get rid of those ends, I thought maybe I'll just trim them off, but it really didn't make no difference because the ends are still pretty frizzy and stuff like that. So just give me a 3/16 of what the hair is looking like after I added more layers into it. And we're going to go on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going into our next step. This is thermal curling number 1. I was experimenting with using the curling iron. As you can see here, I tested it and all that other stuff already. But as you can see, synthetic hair doesn't curl like normal human hair. As you can see, it just falls flat. And so I realized it was still pretty warm. So why not just pin it? So in this particular thermal curl part 1, I know you can see me right here trying to hold it to increase the curl, but it dropped eventually. So something said pin it. So when I curled it this time, I just curled it and pinned it with the 2-prong, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to show you a picture real quick. And yeah, that's what I used to pin the hair out of place. I mean, guess you could have used a bobby pin. It doesn't matter as long as the hair remains in place while you're doing, allowing the hair to cool in its newly found shape. So that was the goal in this particular instance. Okay, so here is the completed portion of the head that we did with the clips, and we're going to move on to our next test, which is going to be thermal curling part 2. Now, thermal curling part 2, I'm going to curl the hair with a curling iron, and I'm going to set it with these rods. Okay, I had 2 different colors, and I had to do the whole back of the head, so that's what you see me doing here. So I'm starting in the back, because I divide the head into 4 different sections. Okay, this is the second section, and I'm going to curl the hair with the curling iron, and I'm going to count to 30, which is what I normally do when I do I use a curling iron anyway. So I count to 30 and I try to catch those ends, as you can see here. But after I count to 30, it heats up the curl, And again, it doesn't behave like regular or normal human hair. So what I'll have to do is, while it's still warm, I can either comb it smooth and then roll it, or hurry up and roll it. So I did a combination of these when I did this section. As you can see, it doesn't curl, so I just hair up and curled it. But I made a mistake and started at the bottom and went to the top, which made it difficult to catch those ends. But eventually I got the hang of it, and I was able to curl it from the bottom and roll it into the root, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to try to show you here. And yeah, so that is the thermal curling part 2 test. Okay. Okay, so right here we're just doing this is the thermal curling part 2, and this is part 1 without rods or rollers and just pins. And we're going to see what the difference is between the two at the end of the video. So just hang in there. Okay, now moving on to thermal curling part 3. Again, with my flat iron here, I'm going to go to the lowest temperature, which happens to be 205. And what I'm going to do is pass the flat iron across the hair, and I'm going to try to get the hair warm. Okay, so this is my third section. This is thermal curling part 3. As you can see, I had to do it a couple of different times, and so just to get it where I felt it was warm enough to curl it. Not so much looking for hot, but just warm, because it worked for the last 2 sections where the hair was being warm with the curling iron at the same time, because it's like wrapped around the barrel and whatnot. So I tried something a little different to see what results would come from this. So that's what you see me doing here. This particular one I found very annoying, because we have to pass it so many times. It takes so much time when you could have just rolled it, and that would have been the end of it. And rolled it, and then, you know, rolled it around the curling iron, and then rolled it on the rod or roller, whatever. Okay, so here is a recap. This is part 3 right here on this side, on your left, my left. Just giving you a look at that right quick, and we're going to move on to this is part 2, which means we had used the curling iron as opposed to the flat iron to curl the hair. So yeah, we did the curling iron, and we hurry up and rolled it with the rods. And finally, that's part 1, where we did the curling iron, and we curled it with we set the curls with hairpins. Okay. Okay, just a reminder, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, if you feel these videos are beneficial and you would like to support the channel, please make a contribution to my Cash App at $, the letter T, Pup Tutorial, the letter N, Review. I'll try to leave a link in the description box below, so check it out. And thanks in advance. Okay, so now we're going on to thermal curl testing part 4. This is a Velcro roller, and I'm going to use a wider curling iron just to see what result we might get and how well it will hold curl and whatnot. So this is the 4th section. Right here, I'm just testing the heat to see if it's too hot and if the hair would melt or whatnot. Right here is like not quite the lowest setting, okay, that I was able to do with this curling iron or heat applicant. Heating tool. Okay, so right here I'm just taking the hair, and I'm doing the same thing what I did in part 2 and part 1, where I'm heating the hair with the curling iron. I'm actually setting the hair around the barrel of the curling iron, and then after this I'm going to roll it, but not in this case. I won't be using a rod. I'll be actually using like a roller, which has a wider diameter, which means it's going to be a low the curl is going to be looser. Again, with curling synthetic hair with these hot tools, okay, it doesn't curl like normal hair, as you can see here, but the hair is still warm because it retains some heat. And then I'm going to hurry up and roll it so that when it cools, it'll set into its newly found set, I guess. So yeah, I'm just going to do these 2 sections and on camera, and I'm going to do the rest off like I did with these other curl testing methods. And in the end, we're going to see the results of all of our efforts to see if thermal curling, that compare the thermal curling versus the steam setting. Okay, so yeah, that's what you see me doing here. Again, I'm counting to 30, and I'm touching the hair to make sure that it's being heated throughout. That's what I'm doing here, evenly heated. And then I'm going to hurry up while it's still warm and roll it with a roller in this particular instance, and see what the finish would look like. Okay, so right here I'm going to unfurl the curls, the rollers, and the rods, and we're going to see what we got going on here. Okay, so this is the first section that we did. We rolled it with a curling iron, and we pinned the curl into place. And I don't know if you can see this, but the curls are kind of like crimped because of the indentation of the clips. Okay, so it's kind of like, like, I don't know, the shape isn't smooth or anything like that. So that's one thing we've learned from curling the hair in part 1. The second curl we did with a curling iron. Second section we did with a curling iron, and while it was still warm, we rolled it with rods. As you can see here, I'm unfurling them. Okay, so this gave a tighter curl, and it's even and uniform from root to ends. Okay, it doesn't have the crimps in it as it did in the first section or the first test. And it's very good if you wanted a nice firm curl. At least that's what I got from this look, but that's my opinion. But as you can see the difference between the two, we're going to go in and redo it, but I'm just telling you my experience and my what I visually see, because the camera can't catch everything, or you may not be aware of, and I'm bringing it to your attention. So this curl is a lot tighter because it was rolled with a curling iron. And as opposed to, well, I'm going to do the next section. It's going to be a flat iron. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so moving to the third section, we did this with the flat iron. We heated the hair by flat ironing the hair a couple of times. I think I did it maybe 5 times, passing the flat iron over the hair. And when I did that, after I did that, then I rolled it with a rod to hurry up while the hair was still warm. It took a longer time to heat the hair than it did with the curling iron, and it was the most frustrating part, in my opinion. But anyway, this comes out as a looser curl, body wave type of curl, as opposed to doing it with the curling iron. So that's what I visually saw when I completed this test. Okay, so this one I did it with a larger diameter type of roller, and I heated it, or I rolled it with a curling iron. Okay, and to make it even, I evenly heated at the same time from root to ends, as opposed to using a flat iron. And I did a bigger curl because I used a roller set, and it's nice, but I really didn't too much care for it. It left body, but it was not as structured as I would have liked. Okay, so here we're going on to the final results. Okay, so right here I'm just going to give you a 360 of everything. That's the roller set that we did. As you can see how loose it is. Right there is when you curled it with the flat ironed it. This is curled with the curling iron, and this is curled with a curling iron and left with pins in the hair. Okay, and that's just finger combed. Right here is what the hair is looking like when it's been brushed through. As you can see, that's what the roller rolling the hair. Okay, right there is when I use the flat iron to flat iron it and then curl it. Right here is when I use the curling iron to curl it and set it on rods. And right here is when I curled it with the curling iron and set it with pins. So yeah, there you have it. Okay, so now on to my final thoughts. I believe this process using the curl knot is a lot more labor intensive than just setting it with a steam, rolling it and then steaming it in the bag and whatnot. So just letting you know, I mean, this took a very long time and I didn't exactly enjoy the experience. However, the testing of the different heating tools to get a different result was very interesting. Hopefully you enjoyed this process as well. Well, the end result, not so much the process, but yeah, if I had to choose between this and steam curling it with the rollers and sitting with a bag, when I prefer to use the steam, because this, like I said, took a very long time and it was not very pleasant because I mean you have to do all these different sections and whatnot. However, I believe that using the heated tools can be helpful when you're doing like like tendrils along the face and the hairline and whatnot, so that might work out. But to do the entire head, I believe that was just entirely too much, but I did it for you. So hopefully you appreciate this and let me know by making nice comments in the comment section and giving me likes and probably even subscribing for more things and whatnot. That would really be pretty cool, and you can go the extra mile by donating to my Cash App. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.